Hi, I'm Paul Darley, and thanks for tuning into our October issue of Inside Darley. I'll tell you, if you're like us, you're very busy planning for 2013, everything from working on your budgets to your business plan to refining your long-term strategic plan. And this issue of Inside Darley is devoted entirely to giving you the tools to assist you in that work. The first article that we've attached is the National League of Cities report. It was just released in late September. It's their annual research brief where they go out and they interview city managers from towns with communities that are 10,000 or larger, and they really delve into their financial condition. And in short, this year's report is very similar to the report that was released in 2011. Revenues were down for most communities on average 2.3%, but oddly enough in 2011, their expenditures were down 4%. So it's interesting to note that most of the city managers reported that they were in better financial condition this year than they were in previous years. So they've done that obviously by reducing personnel, which has been hard on our fire department customers, and they've obviously done it by delaying or canceling capital expenditures, which has really had a significant impact on any company who sells to municipalities. They're also cutting services for those folks in their community, and they're also, interesting to note, they're really depleting their reserves, so it'd be interesting to watch the long-term effects of that. The article really talks, too, to the new normal, and it's something that we've been talking about here on Inside Darley for some time, and you'll continue to, I think, see that terminology a lot more when it refers to municipality budgets and all. The last thing I would call to your attention in this report is the interesting article on page 10, which talks about the lag between the general economy and the effect on municipalities. And they talk, generally speaking, about an 18 to 36 month lag. So municipalities go into a recession 18 to 36 months after the general economy, but they also come out of it during about that same rate. So I would pay close attention to that. The second article that we've attached for you here is an article that was published, a research study by Forbes. It was given to us by BMO Harris. It's entitled Growth During Hard Times. And it's interesting, while it goes and it interviews 100 highly successful CEOs. Those are companies who are thriving during these hard times. And while all these CEOs said, look, most of them don't predict that the economy is going to be bouncing back anytime before the end of 2014 and maybe even after that. And yet 76% of them have very optimistic views on their own company's perspective and outlook in moving forward. And there's a few things that they credit to that. They credit talent development. They're focused in on acquisitions. They're focused in on innovation. And they also cite two other interesting areas that they think is critically successful to their success. And number one they talk about is staying agile. So they're not afraid to change direction. So if market conditions aren't changing as quickly as they thought, hey, they're fine in changing their directions as needed. Secondly, and it sounds contradictory, but it's not, they want to have a very clear focus and have a product make sure that they have a product and that their company has a strong differentiation point. So it's something that we at Darley have really been focused in on as well. There's also some great case studies here that I would encourage you to take a look at. One of them includes Aaron's company. It's a Wisconsin family business that makes lawnmowers and things of that nature. So they've done some interesting things. You know, I got to tell you, the 2012 Summer Olympic Games were really exciting, but they're already a fleeting memory. But during that time, there was a HBR, Harvard Business Review blog that I came across that was entitled 10 Reasons Why Winners Keep Winning Aside from Skill. And the study went in and it really studied athletes. It was a precursor to a book called Confidence that was just released. And the author went out and researched these athletes and came up with these 10 traits that she really felt distinguished winning athletes from the losers, and then brought it forth into a business in a leadership context. So we've shared that with you. I'll tell you, I've looked at this a lot of times. I continue to think of a lot of our great employees and star employees at Darley here as I go through this. So would encourage you to take a look at that and maybe share that with your team as well. So thanks for tuning into this issue of Inside Darley. If there's anything we can be doing to support you, we hope you'll reach out to us.